Medical disclaimer. This video is for informational purposes. It does not replace the medical advice of a trained doctor. Seek medical advice before beginning any treatment plan. Hi, welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. Now let's take a look at numbers, shall we? I'm at 7.3, which really isn't that bad. But we'll see what I am when I hit noon. We've had a few weird days, so I've had two really bad lows, insulin reactions, whatever you want to call them. So, there we go. And let's move on. Now, let's start with this little device. This little device, or devices like this, are insulin pumps. And they help control a diabetic. They all have different programs, but they all really do sort of the same thing. But cost-wise, this can work up towards $8,000 or $9,000 Canadian, and if you get the sensors that go with it, that's another $400 a month. In BC, sorry, I just saw my hands. In BC, we're covered for the insulin pumps, but not the sensors. And I will tell you my sensor story in a later video. But luckily, the province buys me the pump and also buys me the little sensors. Cost-wise, you pay once for the pump. And then you utilize that pump every single day. Now, whether you have the Omnipod or this pump, they're all virtually the same. If you decide this is a closed loop system and it has its own different sensor, if you're looking to go into Dexcom, that's going to be an additional bill. And if you're in like the States and you don't have insurance, it's going to be out of pocket for you. So hopefully you're going to be able to handle this. In BC, a bottle of insulin, a little bottle of insulin, I believe they said is worth $80 a bottle. But it could be more. Sorry, lost my. And if it is, now, but thanks to Pharmacare in BC, you're able to, after your deductible, get more funding to cover it. Now, I've shown you this before on my website, but with the newer pump, sorry, I thought this does a great job holding it. You get phone apps that you're able to track, and it looks easier and you can pull it up. The only negative I found is you can't really control your blood sugars with this. You have to revert back to the pump. So if you're at work and you want to do it quick, look at your pump, see what's happening with your blood sugars, then this is the one you want to use. And this is actually free if you're on your insulin pump. If you're not on an insulin pump, you don't get access to this CareLink. A lot of insulin pen companies, there's graphs out there that you can type in what your blood sugar is. You do it off a glucometer. It reads it. And that's usually done sort of for free. So I've got to take this off. It's a good thing to have. Somehow that you're keeping track of your blood sugars. And this sort of format is sort of the best thing for it. I mean, you could do what I used to do years ago and get a binder and make graph paper and all sorts of weird and wonderful things. Now, the cheapest part, we talked in BC and most provinces, insulin's covered by your plan. Your pharmacare plan, you shouldn't have to pay for insulin. If you end up having to pay for insulin, you need to have a phone call with your representative of your pharmacare. Let's just get this down a bit, shall we? There, it's a little bit better. Now, don't worry, because you can always go back to syringes. I know I did a little bit diabetic emergency feature on this channel, and they threatened to put me on shots. And I said, no, can't do shots, because I've had bad experiences with shots. So, who knows? But don't want to go back to shots. Pens are just another way of delivering shot type insulin. Pumps are a little bit different because it's continuous. Where shots, it's still, okay, we'll give insulin now. Long acting can sort of give you a mimic of pumps, but it all works out well. Don't be hindered by costs if you're in Canada. If you're in the States, it's going to be something different. And I know a lot of times you have to fight with your insurance company. And that's no fun. If you want to buy glucose tablets, they're like $13 a bottle for flavored sugar. But they do work quickly. For 90% of diabetics, I know they probably would supplement a low, but when I've had a low, it hasn't done the greatest. Glucagon does work better for me, and I'll tell you a little story. When I first really got into having problems with my blood sugar, I was on an old version of the pump. And then I had my glucagon on a separate pump. So, in fact, I was wearing 2 pumps a day. And during the night when I was dropping, the other pump would give me insulin, or sorry, glucagon. So it was kind of like a balancing act. It was never conclusive whether it was doing anything or not. If you're able to afford 2 pumps, you may want to discuss that with your doctor. I'm not saying it was the greatest, but all these things start nickel and diming you. And it's not the greatest. But costs, even in, well, the Americans call it socialized medicine. But even in socialized medicine, you still do an awful lot more. Now, something a normal diabetic probably would never have to worry about. I've had to go into a wheelchair because of diabetic neuropathy. And it's just not worth it. So, how do you keep your costs down? Controlling your blood sugar. Buy only as you need to. Don't go out and buy huge amount of supplies. Use the graphs of what I talked about. Take a look at what your blood sugar is doing. And maybe you can cut down the amount of insulin you have to buy. I know something in the past has solved a lot by judging, okay, I only need this amount, and you stop kind of having to play catch up. So, but it can help. And I know there's been changes to the Drug Act down in the States. Drug Act, not drug addict, sorry, Drug Act. Or I don't know, affordability. But insulin is regulated, and which is a positive for many diabetics, but they still are going to have to pay. So just think about little things like alcohol wipes, bottles of alcohol. All add up. So when I say limit supplies, buy your supplies as you need to. Things like I introduced a system called Accelerated Inventory Management. I don't know. Let's take a look. Let's see if there's something on the web. It was something Story used to work at, used to have. So let's take a look. And I don't know. Take a look on the internet. I don't want to waste your time here. And it's called Accelerated Inventory Management. And it could probably help you how much of the supplies you need to carry. And if I ever figure out how to do graphics, I will do a graph and show you how to prepare accelerated inventory management. But with that, have a great day. Bye now. My email is mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com. mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com.